Nutty Professor was my favorite comedic movie as a kid growing up. So when George calls me and says there may be an opportunity to animate Nutty Professor, and with Jerry Lewis, it was a great, great day, you know, just to hear that, get that call.
It really felt strange, but the minute I started, it locked in. It was wonderful. It was good to revisit him.
You okay? Fine. Just a minor abrasion.
I mean, to bring back the Nutty Professor and to work with a legend like Jerry Lewis, I mean, that's amazing.
I'm like a real fan, you know, so that actually be able to one day be able to like hold a DVD and be like, yeah, this is the movie I did with Jerry Lewis. Like, it's unbelievable.
Okay, let's take this baby to the moon.
What, 65 years, maybe? That may not be accurate. How many generations has that touched?
Good morning, class. Okay. Settle down. Welcome to the Cerebrum Academy Science Program. Last year, the students had it a little too easy with all of the lazing around on inflatable mattresses and such. This year, the design theme is a little more radical, so to speak.
Everybody watched the original Nutty Professor over and over again. So everything from the swagger, the way Jerry Lewis walked in the original Nutty Professor, you know, has been imposed on these characters. That was the inspiration for the story, for the characters, for the look, everything.
Think about Nutty Professor and you think about those great transforming scenes when he goes from Julius Kelp to Buddy Love. You think, wow, wouldn't that be great to really do in this kind of crazy style of, you know, animation?
Get ready for the ride of your life. So the vision for this film right from the beginning is to create something that looks drawn, because Jerry's movies were so cartoony and he had such a cartoon influence throughout, and we really wanted to draw upon that and create a unique look where, you know, we have the freedom to shoot this thing like live action because we're in CG, but at the same time, we want it to look like it's been touched by the hand of an artist, every frame.
And Jerry really liked the idea of doing it CGI too, because he wanted it to be contemporary and state-of-the-art, and that really appealed to him a lot, because he's always been on the cutting edge of filmmaking, you know, having invented video assist and other film techniques, so he loved the idea of doing Nutty Professor in sort of a new CGI style.
The story is about Julius Kelp's grandson, Harold, who finds himself at the Cerebrum Academy, which is a school for the gifted, where his grandfather, Julius, happens to be the head of the science department.
Grandpa? Harold, is that you?
Well, we wanted to make it relatable to a kid audience, so we wanted to make sure we had a strong kid character. And I think all of us really came up with this concept of having it be either son or grandson of the original Nutty Professor, the original professor. And so once that, we came up with sort of, well, let's come up with a kid that sort of discovers this potion because of his grandfather. At that point, you know, we were able to say, okay, we're going to make this movie. It's going to be faithful to the tone and the comedy of the Nutty Professor, and we're going to have Jerry, which is great, reprise his role, but we're going to have a kid character that'll relate to kids in the audience.
But I need you to come over here now. ASAP letters.
Okay, Grandpa. I'll be right there. This day couldn't get any worse. Ow! Ready for round 2, Punchy? It's kind of a coming-of-age story for Harold. He goes on he experiences a lot of things for the first time. He's at a new school. He falls in love. He goes on a date for the first time. He's bullied at school. So it's very universal in that way that I think a lot of kids are going to relate to it. And of course, he finds Grandpa's formula, and his alter ego Jack pops out, and hijinks and hilarity ensue. Ah, she's here. And I think the unique twist we have is through one of Julius's inventions, Harold and Jack are produced in the world at the same time, and they have to learn to exist together
to survive, essentially.
Grandpa, you just don't understand what I'm going through.
It really kind of reflects a multi-generational, approach to, age-old problems that everybody has in growing up. And it's kind of really reflected in this new character of Harold.
Hey, Harry, what's shaking? Name's Buddy Love. Now listen up. I'm going to walk you through the play.
It's overcoming your fear. It's everybody has that person they want everybody to perceive them as, and the person they go home and they shut their door and they turn into in their bedroom, So it's sort of like just, overcoming being afraid of who you want to be.
Ultimately, the message is to just be yourself.
Polly!
Lame.
Polly!
Bravo, thank you. Okay, so all the stuff that you brought to it when we started to do the Jerry Lewis notions, the lighting, that plays so great. So don't lose any of that. We can still, don't overdo it, but where it feels right. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so the first cue, we're going to start rolling.
Take one.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Casting the film is really fun. We've got some great talent on board. We've got, obviously, the legendary Jerry Lewis playing Julius and Buddy.
I'm very protective of the character, very protective of the name, and I make sure that it's going to be handled with dignity and with the kind of work ethic that it's accustomed to.
Great to see you, kiddo. Howdy, Robin. How's that engine of yours coming along?
Well, it exploded this morning and demolished my bedroom.
Fantastic news, young Kelp. With so many failures, success is just around the corner or up your street.
I sure hope so.
And then his grandson is voiced by Drake Bell. He does the dual roles as well for Jack and Harold.
He's me, only not me. He's everything I wish I was if I wasn't what I am. Did that make sense?
It's fun to do them back and forth, but then I always worry that they're going to blend and sound too similar, But they were saying it was sounding good, so...
Well. Don't need me anymore, huh, lover boy?
Make Loverboy a hammer.
Well. Don't need me anymore, huh, lover boy?
Drake was amazing, and he's a huge Jerry Lewis fan. So he was so honored when we asked him to come on board.
Most of the, hey, all that stuff is all from, hey, lady, that kind of just took what I've seen from the movie and went from there,
Well, it was just another dream.
He totally knew, and this is a 21-year-old kid, he totally knew the body of Jerry's work. The first one is and then the second one is a huge awareness of terror.
And we had a great voice director that I could, feel comfortable with.
And we're rolling. My job is to get them to open and to feel safe and to either be excited or whatever the minute requires, but just to open up, to let their work come out.
What I meant to say is you're a wonderful kid. Just be yourself.
Charlie's wonderful.
That was great.
When I shook his hand, I knew he was going to be wonderful. One, qualified, and the minute I shook his hand, I felt that he was qualified. Two, passionate about the work he does. And three, he was thrilled to do this with me. That's it. I got all those three messages from a handshake, and I usually do.
Really? That's wonderful. I'm going to keep this hand. That's a good idea. Now, on line 2, it's just give me a reaction. Just give me a big reaction as a dodgeball is coming towards you. Can I have 3 short ones?
The great thing is I can just watch him and he's like, and he just gives the faces, and I know it gives me the idea of how to say the line.
Bravo, thank you. Logan, are you good with that?
Yeah, that's great.
The process is the animators have an idea of what it's going to look like, how a scene will play, where a scene will play. Are they yelling? Are they screaming? Are they running? Is it an intimate scene? Is it a comic scene? Is it a close-up on somebody's face? All these things I have to be cognizant of in terms of what the animator sees and what the script sees. My job is to convey that to the performer. Will you give them real slick, lounge act advice?
At 5:22?
Yes, please.
Yeah, all right. Now listen, kid. You don't need all the fancy gizmos and gadgets to impress Polly. You just need to be yourself.
That's where he transforms back into Julius.
Right.
Be yourself. The performer then takes that information, incorporates that into the performance.
Be yourself.
That gets recorded. That gets sent back to the animators, who then animate to the voice tracks. So whatever somebody brings to a performance is drawn and animated.
It's a different art form, but it's definitely an art form. There's no question about it.
We give the animators the information to create, to do their job.
You know, there are people in our business that do just that, just voiceover stuff. And for me, I need to be visual to do what I do well. But I have been very blessed in that if the director in the booth wants me to give him something that sounds visual, I can do that. But there are many that can't. It's really kind of difficult. But once you get your lock on it, it isn't.
Could I have one more and ooh, and we're done?
Here's your ah.
Here's your ooh.
Thank you.
And in the end, your work is not work that didn't look like work, but it's good work when you look at it.
Anyone understand that? Yeah.
All the action stuff is really different when you're just doing it in a room and they're like, okay, you're flying through the air and you're climbing up a ladder and you jump and you fall and you're shoveling snow and it's like, what? I don't, so. But when you're not there and you're not touching something or you just have to feel, okay, you're running. Does it really sound, is that what it sounds like when I'm running? I don't know. I've never seen my voice come out of an animated character, so.
Oh, it's a thank God. I can live my life now.
The healing can finally begin.
Danielle Lewis, Jerry's daughter, is playing one of the characters in the movie.
Say goodnight, Brainiac.
We made sure that it wasn't too big so she didn't crowd me. I told her I want you to be good but not sensational. Because your old man has got to take first place. I tease her to death about this thing, and I can't wait to see her do it. It'll be really nice.
Danny, thank you.
Fantastic.
Hey, Danny. You're doing good, baby.
But I'd like families to sit down and really enjoy the comedy and the heart of this story, because it has retained the heart of the original Nutty Professor.
Oh, listen, Harry. She's lucky to be seeing you, dig?
What?
What?
What I meant to say is you're a wonderful kid. Just be yourself.
From a nostalgic point of view, to have these characters live again is a thrill to anyone who grew up in the 60s and saw the original film. It's very nostalgic. For new audiences, for young audiences, I think that these characters are timeless. I think the storytelling is timeless. This is an updated version of it, and it's hip and it's cool and it's visually going to be incredible to look at. But the characters, we still get to experience the Nutty Professor, which, unless you lived, I don't know, maybe in Antarctica, 20 feet under an ice floe, you know about.
I haven't had that much fun since.
We did it, Jack. Together.
I think it's great if it sparks one kid to go back and rent Nutty Professor, the original movie. I mean, that's great.
Right.